Gaming, I do want to point out one thing, Mike. The match we saw Rubik up against Darkseer was actually RNG versus Newbie, and RNG had a Rubik. They were the ones running the Rubik. Newbie had the Darkseer, and that didn't go too well for Newbie. It should. I'm keen to see if RNG can actually play around that, knowing what they did to Newbie with that Rubik Darkseer.
Well, that's a very fair point. Of course, Keen probably would have watched a couple of replays today, or at the very least last night, to get a bit of info on what's going on with the side of RNG. You see as well, by the way, the Troll Warlord. I mean, it's pretty standard in this meta right now that Troll is just so darn powerful. It feels like throughout all stages of the game, like he's never bad, this hero right now. Like, even in that laning phase, the fact that you can switch from that ranged form to the melee form, it's just, he always seems to be safe. He always seems to be powerful. It's one of those heroes, it's always a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely. So we've seen this hero do so much work for a lot of teams now. A lot of teams do seem to prioritize that troll pickup, and it's usually very safe. It doesn't give you too much information as to what the team actually wants to do in the grander sense of things, but it does a lot just by itself. You have so many ways of itemizing. You can go for a fastest and Y, or just rush that Battle Fury if you want to farm a bit more. And he's always relevant at every point in the game, so it's a really flexible core to have. Doesn't really take away from you too much by picking it up this early on. I'm actually not too sure about the matchup against Terrorblade, though. That sounds like it could be a bit nasty, but it also does have some potency in it as well, so I am keen to see how that works out for RNG. The Terrorblade, of course, is still a fairly good hero, really strong in lane, as long as you have that Metamorphosis up. You can pretty much zone any offlaner that you're facing up against. The issue is you are tied into that cooldown the entire game, basically, not just in the laning phase. When you're trying to take these fights early on, you are going to have to play around your Metamorphosis, and that's pretty much the one annoying thing about Terrorblade, of course, but very potent still. I think Reflection is really good as well once you hit the talent with that cooldown reduction. It's pretty insane to spam out, so if the enemy heroes are a bit more farmed, that farm will come back to bite them in the butt. So it's pretty interesting to see that come out, especially against something like Troll. Just Reflecting Troll is probably going to be a bit annoying to deal with. Same thing with Reflecting an Anti-Mage back. It does hurt a bit more to be hit by yourself.
No, certainly so. It's going to be very painful indeed. For Keen Gaming, they do go with the Brewmaster as that fourth pick, and I've got to say, personally, John, I'm a big fan of this pick. In fact, Keen Gaming right now with their draft, from what I can see, just looks better, and it looks easier to execute from their end of things, right? And I'm sure you agree with me on this point, but like, you've got so much lockdown, you've got so much crowd control in the Brewmaster now as well. You've got this great carry in the Troll, whereas I'm looking at RNG's side of things. I can see a fantastic early game if they're aggressive about it. I don't see much lockdown, though. I don't see much crowd control. And I feel like if they get a bad start, Keen Gaming's just going to run all over them.
It's going to be a rough time if they fall behind just a bit for RNG. I agree with you on that. It's just that if they secure that early start, I think they can snowball massively. Like, just the teamfight potential coming out from these heroes. If you hit a good timing in your Lich 6, your Earth Spirit 6, just one good Vac wall, and you try to Magnetize out, you try that Chain Frost out, Reflection comes out, you could pretty much burst the entire team on Keen Gaming and kill them off quite fast. If you go in a prolonged fight, or if your initiation isn't perfect, Keen Gaming has a lot of ways of counter-initiating just fine. And that's the one key thing about RNG. They have to get these perfect, 3 to 5 man Vac walls into Magnetize and Silence to really maximize this team fight. Otherwise, even if the Rubik is caught, even if it's just a Rubik outside, I think you're going to have issues with Rubik stealing all your big ultimates and using it back at you.
Yeah, certainly. And they finish off with the Pugner as well. Like, that's a... I mean, it's already a great hero up against the Terrorblade, right? Like, magic damage, any magic damage against Terrorblade is going to be fantastic. This hero, though, the pushing potential it has, the snowball potential it has, generally has a great lane no matter what you do to it. The escape with the Decrepify, it's very scary. RNG do go for that direct counter in the Tiny, so they are going to try and slow down this Pugner, because it definitely seems to be a big issue already, and we haven't even started the game. I don't know, John, overall, looking at these two drafts, who do you think has the slight upper hand?
Just by draft, I have to say I do still kind of favor Keen Gaming's lineup a bit more. I like how well-rounded it is. I see a lot of potential for mid-game man fights coming in, even something like early game man fights when you have level 6 in your Centaur and your Brewmaster. I think that's when you can really force the issue on RNG. RNG does need a little bit more time and a little bit farm to really come online. You want Monet to have a free game, basically just buy as much space for him as possible, for him to farm up fast. That does mean Setsu's going to have to be active, Flyby is going to be active. Mad will have to hit a pretty good level 6 timing, along with Afu, to really start getting those four-player team fights against Keen Gaming going to protect Monet, give him free farm. If Keen Gaming can hold out, the potential from them is really good. I feel like Blank will be able to push quite hard in that Pugna. He is susceptible to burst from Setsu, so we'll still find out how that lane matchup goes. But again, if Keen Gaming holds out in the first 15 minutes, if RNG doesn't have a significant, I'd say, well, significant lead by 15 minutes, I feel like I'm pretty certain that Keen Gaming can take that game later on.
No, I can't disagree with you at all. You do have a quick pause coming out. Kaka's very happy about that. Always good to see. I'm sure you're very happy, John. You love these pauses at the start of the game.
I love these spots. I'm like, yeah, I definitely do. Always need to break Southeast Asians. We don't like working too much, Mike.
No, that's fair enough, John. Neither do I. But then I got married, John, and things stopped. I couldn't take any more breaks. Nevertheless, enough about my married life. It will be the Pugna in the mid lane, and of course it will be, I believe, the Tiny, because Setsu is on it in that mid lane. So an interesting matchup. Again, I do believe the Tiny was just picked directly to counter that Pugna. Still going to be, I mean, it's not as easy as it looks, and I mean, core Tiny these days, I don't know how I feel about it, John.
It's got a really awkward timing window. It has some funky power spikes as a core, whereas, you know, it's not, the issue with Tiny is, with core farm, he doesn't change too much. Sure, you do a bit more damage, you can maybe right-click a bit more, but you can honestly have the same impact without that much farm. So I think that's why Tiny does stay in that position 4 role a lot of times, in that roaming position. Very rarely you see the core, and I think every time we've seen the core, it just felt underwhelming at a certain point, because it does everything a Tiny should be able to do. The issue is, even a position 4 can do that without too much farm. So I think giving Setsu the farming priority should be interesting to see in this game.
Well, the good news for RNG, John, Monet has started bringing out the dragons today. Yesterday in that third game, if you do remember correctly, in the second game yesterday up against Vici, there was no piggies. They did end up losing. The third game, John. In fact, hold that thought, because Dark is being chased down right now by Monet. Metamorphosis was there. One more right click will do it, but he can't really reach Afu. Roll in 3 seconds. He's going to go for this, it seems, but Kaka's ready with the block. And Afu will let it go. Nice game sense there from Kaka to ensure that Dark does not give away first blood. And it will be a trial in versus trial in. But what I was trying to point out, John, is every time Monet does not bring out the New Year's celebrations, they tend to lose. He has come prepared today with the Golden Dragons. See how that does turn out for them. But apart from that, they are going to roll in straight away onto Kaka. The aggression begins immediately. Though Keen Gaming very well aware of what's going to happen this lane, and they punish Afu quite heavily for that. He will be forced to salve up. Really has no regen items left on him.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough time. The harass is nice coming out, but I feel like, again, if you're not in combination with that Darkseer, you know, it's a bit hard to really pull that off. I feel like you'd have more success if you had the Iron Shell on top. Otherwise, the damage at level 1 isn't the most amazing. Afu's stuck in a bit of an awkward spot where if he tries to go in again, he's going to have to go home or kill himself at the tier 2.
Yep, absolutely. For the moment, they'll take it easy because Monet, he doesn't have the meta anyway, so they're probably not going to have the damage to be able to dish out in time. So, Afu just going to sit there and soak a bit of XP. Side of King Gaming, probably going to be more than happy about this. Just be able to chill out, relax a bit, and go whenever they're ready to strike. Meanwhile, mid lane, again, Setsu will be up against Ying on that Pugna. For the moment, he is doing slightly better than the Pugna. He's being, again, very aggressive. Really trying to get those right clicks in, but to be fair as well, I do believe Pugna is a lot stronger once you get a couple more levels up.
Yeah, it can be a bit awkward in this matchup. It really rides entirely on how much Ying can spam out his Netherblast early on and stop CS with Decrepify. Otherwise, it's kind of a draw unless he cops too many avalanches, but both of these heroes are really limited by their mana pool early on.
Top lane. Does seem like King Gaming's setting up for some more aggression, although Arfu gonna roll into 3 of them right now. Not sure what the plan was there, but looks like it was just a bit of a warning shot from Arfu. Telling him he's still there and he's ready to go. King Gaming. They do dodge the bullet for the moment. Meanwhile, though, John bot lane, Flyby is doing Darkseer things right now. They have left the Darkseer alone up against the solo lane with the Centaur. So he will just pretty much creep skip, go to the jungle, pull them into the jungle, and essentially just iron shell everything. This does, of course, leave the Centaur to be able to free farm as well, but he doesn't really have as much of an easy time as a Darkseer would.
Oh, definitely not. It takes him a bit longer to really clear out these waves, and Gold 11 hasn't even picked up double edge yet. He's holding on to that level 4 for a bit just in case rotation does happen, so just playing it a bit safe, which does slow down his farm just a tad, but overall this lane will be pretty much a wash for both sides. I think not much action will break out until we see rotations down there, Mike.
Yeah, certainly so. Top lane, there was a bit more action going on, but they slow down again. Of course, it's mostly RNG. They continue to roll in on one of the heroes on the side of Keen. In fact, they're going again right now. Reflection does come out, but Monet's in massive trouble, and it looks like Old Chicken will be able to find him. Frost Shield was not there in time. Arfu barely managed to roll out. Needed about 2 more right clicks to get the job done on him, but they got the main target.
Yeah, that's a really big one. They managed to take out Monet. He was under Metamorphosis back then as well, so it's not going to have that tool in lane. And again, Terrorblade as here really relies a lot on Metamorphosis to apply lane harass, do damage, even to just team fight. He does rely on that quite a fair bit. It's a very massive cooldown at all levels, so just dying while under Metamorphosis is never worthwhile, I have to say.
Being actually getting chased down right now. Flyby makes a rotation from the jungle. Also hastes up Setsu, but get nothing out of this by the looks of it. Of course, Ying does manage to heal up in time, so he's not afraid for his life anymore. That will mean the Darkseer can just return back to the, well, I say the lane, but he'll probably just start creep skipping again and drag him to the jungle. And of course, Old 11 has not moved an inch on this Centaur, just accepting the fact that he can free farm a lane. And I really can't blame him, John. This is, I don't want to say it's the dream, because he still has to tank a lot of damage, but I mean, he's got the tools for it now as well, so he's more than happy to just chill out.
Yeah, it's really just a bit of a relaxed lane. He will steal both bounty runes, it looks like, so good on Old 11. They both used their ultis to try to secure these bounty runes.
I mean, he does get a slow out of that, right? Yeah, it's a 50% slow on the wall, so I get his point for that, but unfortunately for him, the Stampede was still going.
Wasn't enough.
No. Good attempt, though. Good attempt. Arfu will roll in, but at the top lane, Dark is in trouble. A very nice kickback, although they'll turn around and try to go for this. The Cinderbrew on Mad right now, and he's falling very low. Can he get out of this one? No, he cannot. Kaka will find him. Now Arfu still trying to go. In fact, Setsu's here. He took out Dark. He's going to go after Old Chicken as well. Arfu, the roll was not on target, although the toss is, and it gets Old Chicken in a lot of trouble, and he will go down. Setsu with a double, and I've got to say that is a really nice rotation coming out from him.
Definitely so. A good rotation for Setsu up on top. Buying some, trying to help Monet out, recouping their losses from those early deaths, and I think it's definitely worthwhile. You do give a bit of space to Ying, but nah, you're already level 6, Ying, just about halfway through. It's not too much for loss leaving that lane. And definitely worthwhile. We can take out 2 cores like that.
They're going after Monet again, and in fact, they almost found him. He had the wand available with a lot of charges, and he got it off just in time. Arfu as well with a very nice roll in to protect his carry. Only problem is though, Arfu, like you mentioned, low HP and no regen, has to walk back to the fountain. Monet looked like he'd have to do the same thing because there is no shrine available at the moment, but rather he will just use his illusions and try to go for the jungle instead.
Yeah, he does ferry out himself a set of tangos, so he shouldn't be needing to go home, which is very good for him, as he does kind of need to play catch-up in terms of farm. Isn't too far behind the troll right now, Old Chicken, but, missing out on that lane creep, lane XP, lane gold is not ideal for a hero like Terrorblade.
Flyby Could be in a spot of bother. Ying has rotated down. They know Flyby's around there somewhere, and in fact now they definitely know because he does pull another creep wave and there's 3 heroes rotating over. Kaka comes in as well and he's being pincered in. He tries to run away. Can he make it? The life drain is there. Flyby still making a run for it. Old 11 has Stampede available and he will commit it, of course. Flyby, it is on cooldown for him to get the surge and he will just end up dying to Ying on that Pugna. King Gaming rotate very nicely themselves. It now makes it a 3-2 with a 2k net worth lead to the Radiant side.
Yeah, good rotation down bot. Breaking that piece at last. It was a bit awkward having that go on unpunished for quite a fair while. RNG now does smoke up. Maybe find a kill up top.
Yeah, of course they want Old Chicken on that troll. They may have to go for Dark instead. He will break the smoke, although note the attention is very focused on Old Chicken. Double damage available on Setsu as well, so this should be a very, very simple kill for them. He doesn't actually have the ultimate available as well, and he will end up going down. Setsu finds himself a triple, and he will go back to the mid lane immediately. Because I guess you can't leave Pugna in a lane alone, otherwise he's just going to take the tower. Setsu going to be up against 2 for the moment. Kaka is there, and the tower is starting to fall quite low, but there are limitations to what you really can do as a Tiny in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't stop the Pugna from just spamming those Nether Blasts outside range, just tickling that tower slowly but surely down. Once that mid tower goes down, you're going to lose a lot of control, but I feel like Setsu's done so much in the time that it's been up, trying to buy space for his Monet Terrorblade and just doing a lot of work on the map that it's pretty much been worthwhile. It's done its job at the very least. If they lose it this early on, I don't think you should feel too bad. It is a Pugna you're facing up against. That tower will fall fast no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Nice line being drawn out by RNG. They actually predicted exactly where the rotation was going to come in from Kaka. It does actually go that exact way down to the bot lane. Luckily for RNG's sake, Flyby was already out of there by the time he got there. But he will return, and Kaka is still around. Does have to be wary of that. The ping's immediately coming out as well, and Kaka looks to set up, but they are going to wait for Ying to rotate as well on that Pugna to ensure they can find it. In fact, no, they won't. They will lift up Flyby. They will get the Hoof Stomp as well. It's not going to be enough damage quite yet, but they have the Stampede, and they will commit it. Can they catch him with that Surge? It doesn't look like it, but they will be able to. Old 11, he pops the Retaliate, and it's more than enough damage, and now they found Arfu as well. He does manage to get himself that Bounty Rune, but he does lose his life in the process.
Good rotations coming out from Keen, managing to take those 2 Bounty Runes as well. Pretty clean rotation so far. I feel like both teams are kind of just taking it slow. I mean, you see some aggression coming out here and there, but it's really nothing full force yet. Both sides do want to get some farm and XP going on your cores first, buying some space for Monet and Old Chicken to farm up. And I think until the point where the mid laners are at least 1 item in, 1 small item in, it's gonna be a bit slow until then. Maybe 5 to 15 minute mark is when I expect both teams to kind of ramp it up a bit. I'm not sure if Old Chicken will opt to go for fighting early on. It does look like that, as he is queuing up an S and Y, which indicates that he does want to be active on the map, doesn't want to just stay around farming with a Battle Fury. So that should be interesting to see how that fares. Certainly should try to shut down Monedo. If they give him too much space, it will be an issue in the mid game.
And again, just doing what he does every game when they do fall behind on RNG. Just finding farm around the map. Best he can. And he has fallen very behind, by the way. He's only at 3.4k net worth right now. Looks like the Tiny might be in trouble. In fact, never mind. He was just farming the jungle. But as I said, like, he is pretty far behind right now. And as a Terrorblade, he isn't exactly the fastest farming core in the world. So this is a bit of a kind of new water for him, I feel. Like, because we haven't seen him play Terrorblade and be this far behind.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Meanwhile, Old 11 does manage to get mad, and with that, they are going to go for that tier 1 top tower. Old 11, again, that retaliate damage. Doing a lot of work for him in this early game. Did get a very early Blink Dagger as well as the Vanguard as well. So now, Keen Gaming in that hot seat to really just continue this aggression they've been putting out, trying to take over map control.
Definitely so. They've already taken out 2 out-tier towers. Keen Gaming has lost their bot T1, but I think that's fine as they've kind of abandoned that lane. It's done its job, really, at this point. I think the next thing they're setting their eyes on are that mid lane.
Ooh, mid lane, Troll gets destroyed. He just disappeared out of nowhere, and now they're going into the Pugna, but there is help there from Keen Gaming, although the Gaze does save them from Dark for the moment, but he does get the split. The Vac wall was there, but it doesn't do much, and now Flyby is being chased down. Who do they actually go for, though? Because now they've lost Ying, thanks to Setsu and Arfu, still trying to make a run for it. Old 11 will come in and get the job finished, though Flyby, he won't be so lucky either. He'll go down by the looks of it. One final right click again from Old 11 will get the job done, but Setsu comes back in. They get the T1, but Setsu cleans up at least 3 heroes in that engagement. And essentially, it seems to be Setsu versus Old 11 in these team fights right now.
Definitely feels like it might be a triple kill for Old 11, a triple kill for Setsu. It's a bit of a back and forth here. I think it's definitely a bit of a loss for King Gaming. They did lose Yin and a little chicken there. Not the ideal targets to lose in that team fight. So it does end up just a bit better for RNG in terms of that trade, but RNG do lose their mid tower, so that's all of their tier 1s out now, and that does give them less of a grip on the map, which is, you know, if you're Keen Gaming, you do want to make use of that. You want to clear out the edges of that jungle, and it does allow you to go into the enemy jungle a bit safer now.
Well, you can see the teams still do seem to evenly match up in these engagements, although it does feel like you need to get the jump with Setsu to make that kind of result happen, and that was really only an even result for the side of RNG and Keen Gaming, although there will be another smoke coming in from both ends. It's like they're reading each other's minds or just mimicking each other right now, because they both smoke up at the exact same time, and they both run the opposite way. Although, Flyby may not be so lucky. Nobody from Keen Gaming is out of position, but Flyby has been farming that jungle. Kaka now spots him out, though Flyby should have seen that, and he does back off to safety, feeling like something may be wrong around him. Meanwhile, mid lane, however, Dark may not be so lucky. He gets avalanche tossed, and Setsu, I mean, he must be a magician, John, because he's making heroes disappear right now, and he's continuously getting double damages, apparently.
Yeah, I was going to say that. This is probably the 4th time Setsu's rotated with a double damage rune. It's just unbelievable how lucky he is to get these runes consistently.
Just a bit of RNG, John. Just a bit of RNG. Arfu gonna be chased down. Avalanche is there, and Old Chicken cops a lot of damage. But Arfu should be okay, although maybe not. He runs in the tree line. The roll does not get blocked off, although look at the TP play coming out from Dark, though he won't be there on time, unfortunately, and Arfu will be able to get away safely.
Yeah, really good rotations from RNG, and again, doing a lot of significant damage on that tier 1 mid. Not quite enough to really put it in any danger, though, so I guess King Gaming should be happy in terms of holding on to their objectives. Not so happy with losing your heroes like this.
No, Old Chicken. I mean, Setsu has got like a target on Old Chicken right now, and well, he has to be very wary, like, because Setsu is on a roll. Arfu, he's going to go for another one. Dark will be the target. The roll, though, does not connect, but he gets the slow off and the silence. Setsu, avalanche toss is there. Does he deal the damage? Yes, he does. The right click right now, John, he's hitting for 200 per right click on this Tiny.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb just how much burst damage a Tiny can have, and Setsu has been doing a fantastic job. As mentioned in the draft, you know, this draft from RNG does rely a lot on Setsu to buy space and to create havoc in the map. He certainly has done that. Monet has not had to really join any sort of fight in a while outside of that laning phase, and he's progressing quite nicely in farm. His XP still a bit behind, but compared to how he was doing right outside that laning phase, he's certainly catched up a fair bit. Working on to an early BKB now, which should help him out. I mean, again, a Terribly doesn't really need to worry about physical damage too much. He does need to worry about being kited around and being bursted down, so this BKB will help Monet out. And I think after the BKB, we might see him pop in after one more item. I don't think he's going to come in straight after the BKB. More of like an insurance policy if he's ganked up or forced to go into a fight, but so far I don't think Monet's keen on joining any fights yet.
Old 11 spots out Arfu, although Arfu very close to the base, and that's a very risky gank to go for. He does opt to avoid that for the moment. Of course, Old 11 does also get a Crimson Guard up on himself. Bot lane, Old Chicken find himself in a lot of trouble. That was just a Chain Frost coming out. Meanwhile, RNG gonna run into the side of King Gaming, and again, Setsu finds 2 targets right now. He wants to line them up, and he does. Avalanche toss. Kaka also gets taken down. Setsu is currently godlike. He couldn't find another. He wants to get rid of that Netherward, although Old 11, the rivals meet each other once again. Can they deal the damage? No, the toss is there. Setsu, the Frost Shield as well. The fact they're just trying to protect that Tiny, and now Old 11 on the run. He wants to get out of there safely. Stampede no longer available. He does get the blink off on the roll. Where the hell's Arfu going? It's the wrong way, and Setsu continues moving forward now. He's looking very healthy, and that Avalanche hits on 3 heroes. Old Chicken turns around, wants to go after Arfu, and will find him. Meanwhile, Setsu trying to find Ying, and he has the Iron Shell on himself, but he realizes he is completely surrounded now and needs to get the hell out of there immediately. Although I say that, he turns around, he finds Old Chicken. Can he get himself out though? Setsu, what the hell is he doing? The hoof stomp, he does connect. The Nether Blast as well. He should just be dead here, unless you're going to tell me he gets away somehow. The toss is there. He'll give a godlike streak away to Dark, and that's not a great decision, John, but he does at the very least get the Troll Warlord once again.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's a worthwhile trade when you've managed already. I don't know. Setsu looked like he was about to go out scotch-free, and he decides to just go for that kill on Old Chicken, which was very impressive, mind you. I'm just blinking in there and taking him out, just knowing that he was being chased at that backline and bursting down Old Chicken. I mean, I guess it's worthwhile to slow down this troll a bit more, as he is behind every single core on RNG side. But at the same time, he did give away a massive streak, and you know, I think that's enough for King Gaming to feel a bit good about themselves at this point, Mike.
Well, I mean, before that kill onto Setsu, he was 12-0. I mean, that is an insane amount. He hasn't even got 1 assist. He just gets the job done. This man doesn't need any help. He's a strong, independent man.
As mentioned from draft, Setsu needed to step up in this game for RNG's draft to come online. He certainly has stepped up. The issue right now is Monet ready to come online? Or does Setsu still need to buy a lot of space? It does look like Monet isn't quite ready yet. Still not done with that BKB. And again, after that BKB, I'm not sure if Monet's already keen to join in. I think he'd want to finish his Matt style first. So it's still going to be a bit of a while until Monet's comfy to come in. Again, this is just RNG's playstyle. Really, Setsu going around the map, causing havoc, and Monet just farming up. And it does look like it will take Monet a while to really come in line here, Mike.
Well, King Gaming, they do smoke up. They want to try and find a rotation of their own, but they haven't found anybody. They really wanted Monet on that Terrorblade, and they realize how long they've left him alone now. And they do not get it, although they are running the right way now. No smoke available. Will anyone spot this out? The illusions will. Arfu still waiting. Old 11 is right there and ready to go. They're just waiting for the right moment. The bounty is taken by Arfu as well, though the Nether Ward is going to be a pain in the ass. Setsu goes in. Now the rest as well. The Vac Wall is pretty decent, but Old 11, he'll throw out the Stampede. Who have they actually got there? Nobody's dead quite yet. The Chain Frost bouncing around, but it's all through the Brewmaster splits, and they will finally find at least one in Mad on the Lich. The Brewmaster split's still going and still really creating havoc, but nobody else left from the side of King Gaming that really wants to get involved, although I say that. Old 11 does move up with an invis of his own, but he does get out of it to break a Sentry Ward.
Yeah, a bit of a messy fight there from both sides. I think the smoke popped for King Gaming as they were walking past an illusion, so easily spotted out by RNG, which did cost them that rotation. They do manage to get 1 kill in Mad, but that's really not your top priority when you're going for these ganks for King Gaming, so very good save for RNG, and
Setsu.
a bit of a wasted smoke from King Gaming.
Mid lane, he goes for the toss, but he's surrounded right now, John. There's too many heroes. King Gaming, very nice with the bait play. Old Chicken standing there farming in an awkward position, but Setsu, he took the bait, and he paid for it quite dearly. And with that, King Gaming, I don't think they can defend this. They haven't got the Vac Wall. They haven't got the Tiny. They haven't got the Chain Frost, and God knows that Monet isn't ready yet on that Terrorblade. They have to just sacrifice this tier 2.
Yeah, they're going to have to give out this tier 2, which leaves them with 1 outer tower left. I think King Gaming will go for that bot tower right after. Maybe after 1 more engagement, that's when you're going to feel comfortable taking out that bot tier 2. And then your high ground's pretty much open for King Gaming to chip away with the Pugna.
They're delaying this as much as they can. In fact, it looks like they want to make a jump, but Old 11 in perfect position right there to go for the counter initiation if necessary, and they do opt to not jump in on the side of RNG. Perhaps even just trying to delay it till Setsu was back up. And with that, Keen Gaming have their eyes on the Roshan. They opt to not go for that either. And it's lucky they didn't really, because RNG was pinging it out, knowing that they were probably going to go straight to that Roshan pit.
Yeah, RNG now losing a lot of ground in the map. Really just trying to buy so much space for Monet. They do smoke up now that that BKB's out. I guess Monet is kind of ready to fight. They are going to force the issue here, Mike.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. The BKB is up now, and that's a 10-second charge on Monet. Mad, the smoke is broken. They found Dark. Split is available, and look at the rotations immediately from Keen Gaming. They found Mad at the very least. They'll blow him up. But the real problem is they found Monet. They force out the BKB charge. Now Arfu rolls back in, but the hoof stomp's there. Now the Vac. There's no waterfall up, and Setsu with the avalanche again. It won't find any kills, however, and Monet is still trying to back off because Old Chicken is chasing with Old 11. They're both just so darn old, but not old enough to run away from, apparently. Flyby is in massive trouble, although here comes Arfu. Again, the roll in. Old Chicken is starting to fall low, but he has the ultimate. In fact, he just used it. He might turn around onto Arfu. He doesn't get a lucky root, and they will be happy with that. They will back off, although they are falling low to those, to the wall replicas, but they will be able to get away safely.
Yeah, pretty good counter initiation from Keen Gaming. They were the ones jumped on by the smoke rotation from RNG. That BKB reveal from Monet not paying off quite yet. That was the 10-second BKB coming out. It was freshly bought BKB as well. Like literally the moment it was assembled, RNG decided to smoke up. Wasn't quite ready, I feel like. It doesn't do enough damage. He's still not quite tanky enough, and the initiation just wasn't on point for RNG. It's starting to be at that point in the game where in a 5v5, again, RNG does rely a lot on good vac wall and follow-up from Setsu. That time around, it wasn't quite there. If RNG manages to fix that initiation up, I think Keen Gaming would have been coming out of that fight with a lot more hurt in them. So, just clean up that initiation bit from RNG, maybe plant some better vision if they're going to go for these rotations. Otherwise, it will be a bit of a toss-up if you can't land that combination on Keen Gaming.
Well, Keen Gaming certainly holding this lead quite well right now. Again, like you mentioned, Monet really didn't want to expend that BKB 10-second charge like that, but fortunately he did have to throw it out just to survive. It almost looked like they would have turned that one around because Keen Gaming, the heroes were so darn low, but now they will turn around and go for the Roshan instead. And again, Keen Gaming, just with very nice positioning, Old 11 not afraid at all. He still has a BKB with a 9-second charge available, as well as that Crimson Guard. It's going to be very hard to get into this Roche pit right against this Keen Gaming side. Though Arfu, he's known for stealing Aegis's, John. He's known for doing this on the Earth Spirits. They called him the Thief of the Night. I believe it was Toby 1. Will he go for it? Old Chicken going for the Roshan. It's very, very low. He's in position to try and go for the steal. The dust is there as well. He will not roll in. The timing just was not there from Arfu. And with that, Keen Gaming more than happily take the first Aegis of the game.
Yeah, nice, clean objective steal for Keen Gaming. I was surprised RNG didn't go in to contest. They had a good ward watching that area. They knew what Keen Gaming was going to do. They had quite a fair amount of heroes pulled in that position. I guess they really don't feel too comfy without Monet. They understand at this point forcing 5v5 isn't ideal.
Well, Arfu, they will end up finding Kaka on that Rubik, although now Setsu's been put in a pretty awkward position, but he will Shadow Blade and get the hell out of there. Arfu maybe not so lucky, but he will get the roll off, but Old Chicken just continues the chase. In fact, Old 11's pretty darn close by. Arfu using all these rocks to try and get out of there. And it looks like he will manage to do so. He's still rolling, by the way. Does have a TP available, and he probably will get out of there fairly soon. Meanwhile, what's Monet up to? Looks like he is going to be going for the Butterfly next. He has actually finished the full Manta style now. So again, he is becoming pretty scary on this Terrorblade. Second in net worth now, only to Old 11 on that Centaur. It's that point in the game where unless you catch them off guard like you did that last team fight, you've got to be pretty afraid of the damage Monet's going to be pumping out.
Yeah, he's certainly coming online now. His items are piling up. And even with just the Manta-style BKB, I think Monet should be ready for fights now. He would still rather farm, as it looks like, but I think at this point he should be ready to farm. However, it's not going to be easy, especially since Old Chicken just finishes Satanic.
Yeah, that's certainly so. Like, Old Chicken, as I was saying that, is walking to the secret shop to get that Reaver and finish it off. And it's one of those things, right? Like, you have the Sunder to get to full life, but now you've got a Satanic to do the exact same thing. Old Chicken, though, he has two other tools to be able to do that. One being his ultimate, one being an Aegis he currently holds. And it looks like RNG are just going to be more than happy to wait it out until that Aegis expires. And quite frankly, I can't blame them. Because trying to kill a troll 3 times is not going to be very much fun.
It's definitely not going to be fun, Mike, and quite frankly, I don't think RNG is up for it. I mean, they can certainly burst him down 1 time in a good initiation. I don't think they can burst him down 2 times. I mean, it's already a bit hard to burst down Old 11 in that initiation that they have from RNG.
Well, they're going to force it anyway. The tier 3 now bot lane is being pushed in. King Gaming understand that they are in a good lead for this team fight. How do the side of RNG initiate and try to take it though? Fu looks like he's about to roll in. The avalanche toss will be there on Old 11. Won't be enough. Now Monet, Metamorphosis, the back wall is there. It's not great, however. They're going to try and deal the damage onto Old 11 and get him out of there, but the Stampede and the Force Staff, Chain Frost is bouncing, but it doesn't look like it'll be enough, and King Gaming will just walk out of there safely. They don't manage to get a Rax, however, but they do get a tier 3. They do force out the Metamorphosis, and now they'll be able to get the top or the bot shrine.
Yeah, I think King Gaming isn't going to pull back at all. Probably just pop their shrines from regen up, but now that they know the initiation from RNG's out, the Metamorphosis out, the wall's down, it's pretty much easy.
They went straight into the Brewmaster and Dark Splits immediately. He broke the smoke and it looks like King Gaming are more than happy to take this fight once again. Setsu moving in Kaka, he will end up falling, and now King Gaming, 1 hero dead. Old Chicken making the chase. He's used the Battle Trance now and he does actually get the ensnare off. Though Sunder from Monet to save Flyby. Although they have maybe lost that Tiny with the Tornado, he's kind of trapped up. Fu Setsu will be able to get out. They won't be able to get Flyby out of there, but he will buy back. Fu thinking about rolling in once again. Although he doesn't have Magnetize, they don't have the Metamorphosis anymore. But luckily for them, King Gaming do opt to back out themselves.
Yeah, their creep wave's way too far back for them to keep up that pressure. Although I think this is some pretty big loss for RNG. They did buy back and Flyby. If he dies here, it's just going to be really hard to hold on to their racks.
Old 11 would be the one that's going to get killed off. Setsu gets started with the right click. Avalanche toss is there as well. With those iron shells and the vac, it should be enough, though. The Stampede again coming in handy. They know where he's going, and Setsu blinks right into it, but now he's blinked into a trap. Again, another bait play coming out for the side of King Gaming, but Setsu will be able to walk out of there safely. Neither team really wanting to take a 5v5 right now.
Yeah, I think this is the time where King Gaming just kind of chillaxes a bit, tries to recoup the damage back, probably just wait for Old 11 to regen on, in all honesty. After that, I really don't see these guys pulling back. I mean, they have all the items they want, they have all their cooldowns off pretty much, except for Stampede. Otherwise, I think they're going to go for it again, force out those ultimates from RNG. They know that Flyby has no buyback, no wall for 1 minute. Metamorphosis is going to be back up for Monet, so at the very least that tool is there for RNG in the next fight. But again, I don't see King Gaming relenting right now.
No, and there's no reason for them to. Setsu is pretty far forward though in the mid lane. Old Chicken is the only one there though. Setsu is aware that the rest of them are at the bot lane trying to push in. Setsu is going to try and apply pressure to that tier 2 tower and at least find a trade for the side of RNG, because it does seem like they may lose their own Raxes at that bot lane. They are going to try and defend. They bought a pipe as well. Be up against that Pugner. BKB comes up on Setsu. He hasn't left himself any buyback gold, however. So it's kind of like an all-in team fight for him. Fu rolls in, connects on nobody, but he has his own BKB, and now the avalanche toss. Kaka is down. Meanwhile, at the racks, Monet trying to stop them, but they've got the melee racks, and Old Chicken gonna man-fight Monet. The Sunder is there. Old Chicken also using that battle trance. Can he deal the damage? Monet, he's in big trouble, but they get the Manta off, and Old Chicken still man-fighting throughout all this. Though they can't burst him down, he eventually does get killed off. Fu, meanwhile, still trying to go after that Old 11 Centaur. He won't be able to find him, though they will be able to find Dark on that Brewmaster. The roll is not on point. Dark still making a run, but he will go down, and Setsu again is on a triple kill. on this Tiny, and somehow in hell, RNG, I mean, they lose the racks, but they win the team fight.
Yeah, I think that's very much worthwhile. You managed to do a 4-man wipe on Keen Gaming's side. You hold on to your range racks at least. It's something, not the biggest thing in the world, but I think the key thing there is you stop Keen Gaming from taking even more. So you should definitely be happy with that if you're RNG. I think you're reaching the point where Monet is certainly coming online. He does have that Eagle song up now, so he should be able to join fights fairly soon. If not, yeah, the butterfly is up for Monet, so I think he's ready to fight now, Mike. I think this is the point where Monet is going to be a bit more active on the map. It's not just all riding in Setsu, and I think Setsu is just about to reach a point where you really can't expect him to do everything by himself. That BKB reveal from Afu, I think, really surprised Keen Gaming. That caught him off guard without Kaka really to counter-initiate with a good stolen wall. It was pretty hard for Keen Gaming to come back in there. So, a nice reveal from Afu, and looking to see how much more he can do in the Spirit Spirit. He's been doing quite well for himself.
I agree with you there. On the same token, John, Old Chicken has picked up a Basher now. He's going to be going straight into that MKB to counter the butterfly that came out onto Monet. Old Chicken, he has been playing a fantastic game so far. Got to keep an eye out for this man. Looks like the side of RNG are ready to move forward. They do go through that mid lane for the moment. No smoke available quite now for them. So they are just sticking around with each other, making sure nobody is left alone. I say that Monet is a bit further up, but you'll still have the help nearby. And right now on the map as well, absolutely nobody has buyback on either team. So a lost team fight right now could cost either team a hell of a lot. And it looks like the Roshan is going to be up in a minute 30. So you'd hope they start farming that gold up pretty darn soon for those buybacks. But they may not have the time. Because RNG are in position. Setsu, he's going to find a 3-man avalanche and the back wall. It's a lot of damage, but is it going to be enough to take him out? Old 11 is trying to make a run, but Matt's found a double on that Lich. And now Old Chicken just wants to run, but Afu is chasing him down. Kaka with the lift. Monet is continuing the chase. He has the reflection available. He won't need it. Kaka's gone. Old Chicken still running. He needs to try and survive. Again, he does not have a buyback available. Setsu may be able to find him with that avalanche. The range so close, he will miss it. Afu's going to go up the high ground under the tier 3 tower. He'll decide to back off, but this is just going to be at least one Rax, I think.
Yeah, that's a bit of a rough fight for Keen Gaming. They walk right up that high ground with no vision, no idea where the enemy team is on the map, just walk into an ambush, and perfect positioning from Setsu, the patience from Setsu to wait for them to go up that ramp and initiate there. That's just pretty darn good, and really unfortunate for Keen. The Guz cost him at least a tier 2. At very least, it doesn't cost him more than that, but I think that does shake them up a bit. They do lose their gold lead, and RNG is most certainly looking a lot stronger now, Mike.
Yeah, no, certainly so. I've got to say, I mean, I did say they were going to take at least one Rax. The only problem was their creep wave was so far behind them. They couldn't actually go through the backdoor protection for a tier 3 tower. So they do get back. They checked the Roshan, but they were just a couple seconds early, and they're going to smoke in on the side of King Gaming. Do they go for it, or do they go for a fight? It looks like they want to fight. So again, RNG in that same position. They have the high ground. They're ready to go right here, right now, and it's almost like Setsu's ready for it because, I mean, he was in Shadowblade form and just then. Old Chicken. We'll get started on the Roshan, but RNG, they had Illusion spotting that out. A risky play, but Keen is also on the high ground ready to go. Monet doesn't have the Metamorphosis for another 35 seconds. A good opportunity for Keen. Still risky, but Old Chicken, the lift is good. The toss back though from Setsu. Make sure he's safe. Now the avalanche as well. They don't want to initiate with that meta, but the split's been used in Keen Gaming. They start moving forward. They'll find Matt at the very least, but the buyback is there immediately. Now Old Chicken, they're going to go after Flyby and the Dark Sea. Old 11, he gets the hoof stomp once again. Meanwhile, Afu just destroying the backlines, but it's not quite enough. Setsu will go in. Monet, he has 5 seconds left for that meta. He wants it so darn desperately right now, but it looks like he probably won't even pop it when he does have it. He will just use the reflection instead, and Dark's life will be lost. Setsu will find himself another double kill, and perhaps now they'll just go sneak the Roshan.
Yeah, I have to say, it's just this ward from RNG has really been costing Keen Gaming a lot. They've been rewarding the same spot the entire time. Keen has not spotted it out.
They're going in for the team fight again. Keen Gaming do not want to allow this Roshan, but Monet now has the meta. Setsu again takes down Kaka in the backline, so no Rubik available, and they're going after Old Chicken. Troll is gone with no buyback, and Old 11 is also gone. He's the only man available on the team with a buyback at the moment, and this is just a guaranteed Rax. Excuse me, a guaranteed Roche.
Yeah, that Roche is definitely not going to be under contest by just 2 heroes. Again, just it feels a bit reckless from Keen Gaming. I think this comes down to the vision game coming out from RNG. Just this one ward right by this medium camp now.
Yeah.
It's been giving so much information to RNG. Keen Gaming has been walking into this area of debt multiple times now without dewarding it. It's been very costly, and I think at some point Keen Gaming has to realize where that ward is, otherwise they'll never be able to secure that Roshan.
For the moment, they haven't. Like you said, it's just been costing them a hell of a lot. Now RNG want to try and force the buyback out of Old 11. No meta available. Setsu, though, he jumps in, and he always wants to go after that Rubik first, ensuring there's no vac wall being stolen from the side of RNG. They've taken the tier 3 tower, and now the Rax is under siege. And even though the meta's not available, it does get taken very, very quickly. They'll leave the illusions there, and they'll be more than happy to back off after that. Old 11 does opt to save the buyback gold and the buyback itself rather than try and defend.
Yeah, again, a really clean push from RNG. Really no way to contest that if you're KG. Keen Gaming really going all in their itemization right now. Looks like Old Chicken did spend quite a fair bit on 2 components for his MKB. So, again, it's going to be a while until he has buyback gold, probably about, I'd say maybe a minute if he just goes on full farming, 2 minutes at least, and he'll have his buyback gold back up. Otherwise, it's a very risky 2 minutes to be in Keen Gaming shoes, Mike.
Oh, it really is. Things are getting harder and harder for them, and unfortunately for their sake, they've fallen behind in net worth. 11k now, the way of RNG. It's like, once you have that MKB, it does feel like, to be honest with you, Old Chicken may need some more defensive items. Like, I don't know how much value a BKB is going to have on him at the moment, but it seems like BKB on Troll's never a bad idea.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you on that, Mike. I mean, he does need something to stop himself from being controlled up. I think he really just wants to stand in the middle, right-click as much as possible, pop his BKB to keep right-clicking some more, and he just hasn't really invested in it. He wants that MKB up to do more damage, which is understandable against Terrorblade's Butterfly. It's just that you just have no durability right now. I mean, the moment you're stunned up, that's probably it.
I think the assumption is that the side of Keen Gaming with their heroes will be able to just maybe control the heroes that, you know, you'd need a BKB for in the first place, but you've really got to give it to Setsu. I mean, he's just been in the backline every time, making sure that all those heroes on the side of Keen Gaming are dying. There's just no support left for this Troll. With that R-Fu will smoke. The smoke will be broken. He goes in. Avalanche toss again. They go after Old Chicken, but he'll pop the battle trance immediately, and the split is there from Dark. Can they deal enough damage? Monet, he pumps out so much, but it looks like they may take out one. No, in fact, they won't. Flyby somehow manages to get out of that one. Old Chicken still being chased down. Will be okay. Meanwhile, Old 11 going after Mad. The Sinister Gaze was there for the moment. R-Fu still being chased down. Now Old 11 did not actually finish off Mad because the Glimmer Cape was there, and Old 11, he manages to TP out somehow. The BKB TP, there was no way to cancel it off, and I mean, half a second more they would have got him for sure, but he does end up getting away scot-free.
Definitely so. That was one massive crit coming out from Setsu, though. Like, that Daedal is just kicking it at the right time in that TP. Just unfortunate that, you know, it was only one crit. If both of his hits from that Echo Saber were crits, that would have been a bit ridiculous, but that would have taken the kill. Keen Gaming should be happy again. They only lose one here, although now it's going to be a bit of a really hard time defending uphill.
Oh, Vac is there. Old 11, though. The 4-man hoof stomp. My goodness. And now Old Chicken is going to rip him apart. Though the reflection is there. Can they deal the damage to the side of Keen Gaming? The Chain Frost, it does come in. They get rid of Old 11 on that Centaur, but he buys back immediately. And all the heroes of RNG are so darn low at the moment. They're easy pickings, but can they find them? Monet, He doesn't have Sunder, but he does have Aegis, and he chooses to man fight instead. Now he'll back off. Old 11 comes back in. The Hoof Stomp is there. Now Arfu tries to protect his carry. Can he do it? Again, the reflection comes in. It deals a lot of damage, but it may not be enough. In fact, they will get Arfu as well. Now can they kill Monet the second time? It looks like they can. They're going after Mad now as well. Meanwhile, in the back, Setsu BKBs, and he'll get the hell out of there. But John, the Hoof Stomp from Old 11 onto 4 heroes. My goodness.
That really turned that high ground defense for Keen Gaming. It looked pretty rough for Keen, I have to admit. I mean, I didn't feel like they'd have the chance there, but RNG grouping up like that, up against a Centaur, this farm, as farmed as Old 11 is, it's still not a great idea to do that, and they get punished very hard.
Yeah.
They do lose their Terrorblade, they lose Mad as well on that Lich. I'm not sure if Keen Gaming can get a push out of this. It does look like their waves are a bit too far out to really maximize this. But Keen Gaming certainly holding on quite well. They're going to clear out this last shrine, and that does open up more roaming for them in the jungle. Neither team now having, you know, any point in the shrine, any point in the jungle where they can TP in. Does mean that the ganks will be a bit more chaotic now, Mike.
Yeah, and to add on to the previous fight, John, there was so much pressure on Keen. Old Chicken, he actually spent all his gold on that MKB, so he had nothing left to be able to buy back throughout the team fight as well. So if Old 11 hadn't gotten that Hoof Stomp off, it would have just been GG well played for RNG. But he pulls it off in the end, and he keeps them going for at least another day. Just see how much more they can get done. We'll look at Dota probability right now, and, well, it does look like it's still about 64% the way of RNG, although it is starting to go down back the way of Keen Gaming. So, I mean, this is what I love to see, John. When I woke up this morning and I knew I was casting this final, the one thing I wanted was a close game between two great teams, and that's what we're seeing.
Both teams are certainly bringing their A game here, Mike. The performance so far, just this coordination, the movement, and the control both teams have had. It's definitely not one-sided. I mean, both sides have shown us what they can do. The issue is now, who can close out the game? Because I feel like we're approaching a point where both teams will start to slow down a bit, Mike, just a bit. I mean, that's a tendency here in the region, as you know, in most games we've watched. If it reaches around the 45-minute mark, both teams just kind of slow down a bit, get back to farming a bit, try to secure the next Roshan. I think that's the next objective both of these teams will contest hard, is that Roshan. So we will have to wait a bit until the action's back, but I think that's kind of understandable, considering how much Keen Gaming is lost and how much RNG is playing on the edge as well.
I mean, there's a lot on the line. I can't blame them at all. Old Chicken as well. He does manage to pick up a BKB, by the way. So, Courier is on the way with that. But again, I don't blame them for slowing down. Of course, the smart decision is wait for the next Roshan, but you've got to try and get that map control going for yourself. And we do already see King Gaming. They've been de-warding, getting ready for that Roshan pit. RNG, however, they've been farming up for the moment. They've actually got no vision whatsoever around that Rosh pit, so it's currently blind to them. Now, mind you, the Roshan isn't really up at all right now. We're going to find out in 10 seconds when it will be, but it does feel like they certainly need to go start placing those wards that they had before. They have that advantage that they also had before, and as I say that, they do the same thing. So there you have it. There's the vision from the side of RNG, and now they're prepared for a Roshan, which will come up in 23 seconds, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Keen Gaming. They've fallen for this trap twice before at very high cost. I feel like they're going to fall for this again with this, again, this magical ward for RNG, which just does so much work for them that Keen Gaming does not spot out every single time. So I'm a bit worried for Keen Gaming. They don't have as clear vision in that Roche pit directly. And if they do contest that objective, it's going to be a messy time for them, I feel.
Look at Old 11's HP, by the way. 5.3k right now. He has the full heart of Tarask. He literally is a raid boss. He's hitting for 300 damage per right click. That is absolute insanity from this Centaur. It's like, how do you even get through all that HP?
They find ways, Mike, that they have been trying hard.
Setsu, avalanche toss. He takes down half of it already. Now Arfu comes in. They can't quite burst him down as fast as they would like. A nice attempt. It was just the wrong target to go for, but then again, it's not like they're going to put anyone else in the front lines, and now the smoke comes out. They think RNG may have left their guard down, and they want to take advantage of it. Oh, Old 11. He grabs the haste room, but it breaks the smoke, and Monet knows now that they've been smoked up. Old 11, though, continues moving forward. Hoofstomp is there onto Flyby. It's only one hero, however, and now he's making the chase onto Mad, but he's still all alone. BKB, the rest of his team, nowhere to be seen, though. They were trying to catch up, but Old 11 was too fast, and now the back wall. Flyby, he found 3 of them, but where's the follow-up damage? Where the hell Setsu? He's trying to get in there. Kaka, the avalanche will be there, and Kaka should just be dead, although no, he managed to get out, just barely. In fact, never mind. The Magnetize will get the job done, and Dark, he's split, but that Earth Ruling is in trouble, and now Dark's gone as well. He will buy back immediately. Unfortunately, the Rubik does not have buyback available. Now, Old Chicken, he comes back in. BKB's up. Flyby wants to continue the chase. They won't do so. But that may have been a bit of an early engagement from Old Chicken, because he's got his BKB on cooldown now for another minute, and the Roshan is available to go. Now, mind you, Monet also has no Metamorphosis, so it is really anyone's team fight right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit messy here. I feel like Keen Gaming cannot allow this to go for free.
Oh, Setsu again jumps in onto Old 11. The Vac is there onto 3 heroes, but where's the damage again? Monet BKB's up, but it has already worn off, and they're all trying to get this damn Centaur. He BKBs while the Chain Frost is going at him. Flyby, he does get killed off. Now they will turn their attention to Mad. Old Chicken still trying to find him. Meanwhile, Old 11 surviving through all that damage. In fact, he's healed up through most of it. Now Mad gets taken down, as well as Arfu getting caught out by the Centaur, and Setsu turns around trying to help Monet, but they are going to be surrounded in just a moment. Setsu can't really afford to die right now, but it looks like he may just do that. And in fact, he does end up losing his life. He does have a buyback, but suddenly the side of King Gaming are pushing all of this back their way. And if they get this Roshan, John, there's a lot of items on that Rosh right now. It's going to be pretty painful for RNG, but at the same time, I don't know how they defend this without the Metamorphosis. Old 11, he jumps back in. Hoofstomp was there. Setsu, of course, just brought back. The Roshan's already gone, though, and they cannot afford to lose another life. Old 11 trying to find somebody, but his Blink Dagger is on cooldown. I mean, how did Keen come back so darn quickly?
Just one good fight is all it took. I mean, RNG has been trying to focus down Old 11, which has been a bit of a mistake. You really can't burst this guy down. Sure, you drag him down to, what, 1/4 his HP. That's still a lot of HP when you have 5k HP, Mike. So I feel like RNG does need to reprioritize their targets again in these engagements.
Old 11, half his HP gone again. But the problem is, he walks back for a couple seconds, resets, comes back full HP, and does it again. Back to the point you made as well, like, I agree that they need to go for another target in the back, but I mean, Old 11, he has this great positioning on this Centaur, which almost forces you to try and attack him instead. Because you realize if you go into the back lines, you're probably just going to be a sitting duck to the Hoofstomp he's going to throw out. RNG, they've got to find an answer for this. Double damage now on Old Chicken as well to make matters worse. It's hitting for 550 damage or so, John. That's a lot of damage on a Troll Warlord. How do they defend? Metamorphosis, it is on cooldown again for another 100 seconds. Old 11, move in. Setsu will get started. He uses Silver Edge and breaks him, but it won't be quite enough. Again, he will go for the reset with that Heart of Tarask. Old Chicken really wants to get started while that double damage is there, but it's about to wear off and he doesn't have the time. Old 11 trying to bait it out for him. Unfortunately, Old 11's copying a lot of damage, but he's still pretty darn healthy. Now Old Chicken will get started on the Raxes while they're being distracted. That Tornado doing a lot for the side of Keen, and now he does have Stampeded again because he just refreshed it. Although Old 11, he does end up going down with no Stampede being used, and Old Chicken just taking down the Rax, but he may lose his life. The Battle Trance will be there, and they start chasing down Setsu instead. Monet was tornadoed up. Old Chicken BKB's up and tries to make a run for it. The Stampede will be there thanks to the buyback of Old 11, and that'll be it. They got what they came for, and they will just back off to safety again.
Yeah, again, a pretty rough back and forth for both teams. Forced to use that buyback on Old 11, and I have to say that Probably not the best usage for the refresher shard coming out from Old 11, but it is what it is. I think he waited a bit too long to pop that Stampede. Honestly, it really feels like he held out too long after popping that refresher shard. And I am aware there's a dog in the back. I do apologize. Dogs love Dota too, you know. This is getting my dog a bit too excited, so what can you do sometimes, Mike?
Now, the only real question is he a fan of Keen or is he a fan of RNG? Either way, he's in for a great game. The net worth suddenly is pretty much even. Dota Plus, what do they have to say? 61% chance of Keen Gaming winning this out. Suddenly the tables have turned for the side of Keen. And it feels like this is the third or fourth turn we're seeing. Old 11, again, pushing in that mid lane. Making sure he doesn't relieve any pressure from the side of RNG. Daedalus is completely up on Monet. He's pretty much 6-slotted, but he does need that refresher orb to actually have the double metamorphosis that his team desperately needs. Because without that metamorphosis, he's not really a carry anymore. To make matters worse for them, however, you look at Old Chicken, he does end up picking up a full Abyssal Blade. Now, while that Aegis may expire rather soon, you will be able to put that Abyssal in, and suddenly you may have just a guaranteed way of taking out Monet before that Sunder comes out. Especially considering he is level 25 and he does have the Sunder cooldown talent.
Yeah, again, this game is just getting a bit even. When it comes down to draft, I do favor Keen Gaming a bit more. Again, the reliance on that metamorphosis is a bit costly in RNG, and they are really relying on Setsu getting a great initiation, maybe even a lucky crit to burst down Old 11 right now, which, you know, it's not reliable. You're depending on RNG basically to take out the Centaur.
Yeah, and he's only going to get tankier as well. He's going for an Assault Cuirass up next. And that is going to be a real headache for the side of RNG. And you've got so much DPS, but you don't want to go after Old 11. That's the worst target, but he keeps putting himself right in their faces and saying, hit me. Fortunately, RNG is forced to hit Old 11, who doesn't feel a thing. Aegis does expire. Keen Gaming. What is the option here? The smoke is there from RNG, and they go on to Old Chicken, but he does survive for the moment. BK being used up. He still has the battle trance, and now he commits it, and Monet is going to be the target. He gets chased down. No lucky bashes coming out from here yet, and now he does. Abyssal Blade as well. No Sunder. He will go down. He will buy back immediately, but he did use that metamorphosis, and it didn't do anything for the side of RNG. They're still trying to make the chase for RNG's sake to get somebody on the side of Keen Gaming. But they understand when it's safer to back off, and they do so. They do reset, and they will make their way again through the mid lane, it looks like.
Yeah, again, an unfortunate engagement for RNG. The initiation just wasn't right. They jumped the troll this time. Old Chicken dropping very low, but not quite enough to finish him off. And again, if you can't burst someone down in your initial jump in, it just means Keen Gaming can turn back around and counter-initiate quite well, so you will have to watch out with RNG. I feel like their target prioritization has just been a bit iffy. I think a while ago they had a right thought process. Kaka on that Rubik has been such a pain in the ass to deal with. You have to take him out, or you're facing a second parallel wall that's not yours. You're facing a counter-initiation with the Avalanche. A lot of good spells to steal for Kaka, and he's been making this Rubik work out really well for Keen so far, Mike.
Yeah, well, update on the itemization. Old 11 now. Assault Cuirass is up. However, Monet did get the Refresher Orb and refreshes immediately. He has the meta. They go. Vac is there, but there was no water follow-up. And Old 11, again, copping a lot of damage, but nowhere near enough. He seems to just always lose half his HP, and then he just regens it up once again. Keen Gaming, they just know, like, we'll just wait for the Metamorphosis. And after that's gone, RNG just sitting ducks. In fact, they will go back and defend the mid tower a bit because it is getting pushed in. So Ying will take care of that on the Pugna. I mean, Metamorphosis down for basically 2 minutes. It's about to run out in about 15 or 20 seconds on Monet. What the hell can they do now to defend that last Rax?
It's a really hard task for RNG to defend without that meta. They popped the Refresher Orb earlier. The meta right now is down as well, so I feel like Monet is not going to have as much impact. He's just going to be there to spam that reflection, to try to make it hard for Old Chicken to fight. And it has worked a bit. There were a couple of moments where you can see Old Chicken has been copying a bit too much from his reflection, but beyond that, a good initiation is really needed here, Mike.
They're going to try again. Old 11 so darn tanky. Now King Gaming aren't going to back off. They keep moving forward. The vac wall is there. Is it going to be enough though? Not quite yet. Old 11 again moving forward with that Stampede BKB. The first tier 3 is gone. Now they want to go for the Raxes. Armfu as well. Goes down. Will buy back immediately. The Chain Frost does absolutely nothing apart from gets rid of a few Brewlings. And King Gaming, do they feel confident? Not quite yet. They know the meta isn't up. But perhaps they're feeling just a little unhealthy to keep going. The side of RNG trying to find something, although no. They wanted the pursuit to keep happening, but RNG wisely goes back. Because they did not have that high ground advantage. To make matters worse for RNG, the Roshan will be up in 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's going to be a very big target for Keen Gaming, and something that RNG, I feel like they need to contest. They definitely need to contest if they want to have a solid shot in coming back. They've just lost all 3 melee racks. They were 2 ranged racks away from getting Mega Creep, and once that's up, they can still hold, but it just gets harder to make space outside your base and start sieging yourself. RNG really on the back end here now. I think they're definitely going to have to wait for Monet's Metamorphosis to be back up. I think you might want to wait for the Refresher Orb to be back up as well. You just need that double meta up. It's really just way too helpful, although I feel like 50 seconds left. You could probably go in safely now, but no vision from RNG this time to spot out that Roche. No wards watching that ramp. It's going to be easier for Keem to take this time around.
Yeah, well, they know the Roshan's probably going because they did scan it out. Can they get a good initiation? Dark, he's going to be the first target. If they can get rid of the Brewmaster, it would be nice, but he gets away, and now they turn around onto Arfu. The BKB will be there, and he backs off, though Old 11 still man-fighting with the Terrorblade, and now the Stampede. It looks really bad for RNG. The Manta comes out. Old Chicken, though, has popped the Battle Trance and has the Satanic. He does use that. He's falling low. They're going after Monet, and Old Chicken, he's actually gone. He ends up dying in the middle of all that. That's one massive pick-off. He doesn't have buyback available on the Centaur either, who also went down. RNG somehow pulling it back their way. And in fact, is this one of those tier 4 plays that we saw over and over again yesterday? It could be, but RNG would rather get the Roshan first. As well as that, their own tier 4s are being pushed in. Somebody's got to go defend those. It will be mad on the Lich, and it looks like Flyby will get in there as well at the top lane. Meanwhile, Monet and Setsu will go after the Roshan. I can't believe Old Chicken and Old 11 actually ended up dying throughout that team fight, though.
Yeah, that's really awkward. I'm not sure how that happened. Old 11 still has that cheese as well. I'm holding on to it for a while. I'm just really not sure how he can get stunlocked like that. Really unfortunate for King Gaming, but really well played from RNG, just playing their cards right. Managing to take the kills they needed to secure that Roshan. They expend a buyback on Old Chicken as well, which is going to be big as he won't have that for the next defense if it happens in the next 7 minutes. So it's a bit risky for King Gaming again. They're in a bit of a rough spot. I feel like they're definitely going to want to wait for Old Chicken's buyback before committing to any sort of push yet. Unless they can get their own diebacks from RNG, but I doubt that for the ages up.
I'm just looking at Monet's farm right now, John. He's pretty much 1 item away from being 7 slotted right now. Pretty much 9 slotted if you gotta get rid of that Aegis to be really 9 slotted, but nevertheless, he is going for a Moonshard first, into the BOTs, into the MKB it seems. Getting real set up for that late game, and speaking of late game, John, I mean we're 61 minutes into this game now. This is absolutely insanity from both these teams, and it's just fantastic to see how even this game's turning out. Old Chicken, his farm going pretty well as well, but if we look at that net worth, like, Monet is ahead of everybody by at least 7k now. It's just literally about keeping that Metamorphosis up and running. They do have essentially 3 ways to refresh it now. And you've got the Refresher Orb, apart from the fact that you can just wait for the cooldown, you have the Refresher Orb, and now you have a Refresher Shard available, which currently Arfu is holding. See. Like King Gaming are going to sit back and relax for the moment. This net worth graph has pretty much been all over the world right now. Just up and down, up and down. Dota Plus doesn't know what the hell is going on anymore. RNG gonna make their way in. Old 11 immediately, the hoof stomp is there, although this may have been a mistake. He does get decrepified though, and he will be safe for the moment. Tetsu though, going in, the toss back, it was on a Terrorblade illusion unfortunately. RNG, do they pursue? There's a double damage rune up top. They would have loved that a couple seconds ago. Though they will get in there. Monet is falling low. He does get the Sunder off, however. He'll be fine for the moment. And it looks like they are going to go for the tier 4 play once again. I don't know if this one's going to pay off for them. In fact, they changed their mind, though. Old 11 again with a very nice hoof stomp. But Monet has help in the backlines and they move in. Arfu refreshes the Magnetize. That's an interesting choice to make. It's not going to do too much. The back wall was there as well. The Stampede, the Avalanche is coming out. Nobody's dead quite yet. But RNG are looking slightly healthier for the moment. Old 11 again moving in, trying to help out his team. But nobody's following up. And it looks like they will just back off on the side of RNG. And that would be a successful defense coming out from the side of Keen Gaming.
Yeah, it definitely is a successful defense. Just felt like a really prolonged fight with no real losses there. I think the one thing that's happening while these pushes are going for RNG is that their tier 4s are eventually going to fall, Mike. This last tier 4 is at 191 HP. It's probably going to die unless, oh god, unless Mad gets his 25 and goes for the HP. Oh, oh god. Oh god.
I mean, that is... They buffed that, right? When the Frost Shield, when they changed the Frost Shield, I believe the HP went up for that talent, didn't it?
It's plus 60 now, yeah. I believe it went up by 10 points or 20 points.
It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The Mad's just going to keep healing up the tier 4 tower, and if the Ancient gets exposed, that's one thing you can't underestimate. Like, if this game ends up in a base race, you can't underestimate the fact that if the Frost Shield's available to be used or spammed, it's going to make it a hell of a lot harder to try and take it down.
I dare say near impossible if you didn't have the right carries for it.
See how it turns out though. RNG are starting to move again throughout that mid lane. Monet trying to bait them out. The rest of his team currently smoked up behind him. Again, Old 11 standing guard on that high ground. They will rotate down to the bot lane. They don't want this creep wave going down to their tower anymore. Ooh, actually, Disarm is there as well as the meta being used. Old 11 gets sundered. He just wanted to take Monet out, but he was just half a second too late. He will buy back, however. They will get started again. Kaka is there with the stolen Avalanche. Monet does not want to back off quite yet. Refresher Orb is also available, but Aegis just expired. Can they burst him? Setsu tosses Old 11 back. This is going to be a dieback if he dies, and they hex him up as well. The new site device coming out, the 4 stuff does save him for the moment, and the Stampede, but there's the back. It's not quite enough quite yet. Old Chicken, the split is there from Dark as well, just in the nick of time. Monet is starting to fall relatively low, but he has pretty much unlimited Sunders to throw out as long as someone's nearby. And he just turns around and Old 11 again gets started. Can they stun lock him? And yes, they can. Monet goes down. He does buy back immediately and he can refresh that Metamorphosis, although now he's lost Flyby and I don't know if they'll continue pursuing. In fact, they definitely won't. Monet will get back to the defense of the base.
Yeah, both teams are just really trading blows here, slowly but truly. I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to come out on top of this, Mike. It's way too tight at this point. The gold difference on the course are negligible. They pretty much have all the items they want. The only way I see this progressing is if Dark, I guess, gets an Aeon Disc. I think that's going to be big. Beyond that, I'm not really sure what you can expect. Maybe Keen Gaming goes a bit cheeky and starts building Aeon Discs on every single core. I think that could really throw a spanner in the works for RNG's initiation.
Well,
but outside of that, I'm really not sure. It's a slow chipping away. And we have the 25 talent from Lich, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
That tier 4 is healed up. Oh, God.
Yep. Yes, sir. And I think KG may just find out about it. Setsu wants to get started. They can't afford to lose Old Chicken right now. He does have Battle Trance, however. Half HP gone. He'll heal up slowly. In fact, no, he won't. The urn is cancelled off. They will get away with it. Now, the Ancient, they're going to go straight for it. They don't want to waste any more time with the side of RNG. Old 11 just going to tank all the damage from Monet. Just put the pressure on this side of RNG. Metamorphosis, again, doing a lot of work for them. But Old 11 being a real headache, and they're dealing so much damage right now. The Ancient is falling, and it's gone. Oh, Keen Gaming, they do it. The shield did absolutely nothing in that moment, John. They had the troll, they had the Centaur, they had everybody. And RNG were not expecting Keen Gaming to come out of nowhere and just decide we're going to push in your Ancient and there's nothing you can do about it.
I think it was the result of that last fight. Just losing 2 heroes with no buyback like that, expending a lot of your spells. It made sure Keen Gaming had a good entry into that high ground. With none of the big team fight spells for RNG, it's just a really hard hold. Sure, they had the Lich 25. They couldn't buy enough time to really, slow down that attack on the Ancient. And if you can't do that, well, that shield is pretty much useless. Very well played from both teams, so a really tight match. I mean, Keen Gaming won with 31 kills against RNG with 35 kills, and less than 1k network lead for Keen Gaming. Really tight match. I'm looking forward to game 2, Mike.
I mean, it's... You know who it's got to be heartbreaking for right now? Setsu, 23 kills on this Tiny. It was literally Setsu versus Old 11 for half the game at least. Probably most of the game, actually. Because Monet was just MIA because he had to farm up on that Terrorblade. Oh, it's got to be heartbreaking for Setsu right now. I mean, Old 11, he played out of his mind. I have a feeling we're going to see a Respect Centaur ban in the next game, John. But we'll wait to see and we'll confirm then. It is MLPdota and johnxfire. Guys, we'll be back in a couple minutes for this very exciting, I'm sure, game number 2. Won't be too long.